Boy, Brian Kelly got his swagger back, didn't he? You know, Brian Kelly normally does a press conference on Mondays, but because of Labor Day, he did it today. And my man came from the top rope like he was prime Shawn Michaels in the 1990s. Then delivered one of the best sweet chin musics that you'll ever see in your entire life, because Brian Kelly was made aware in his press conference today of what Dabo Swinney said in his. And in case you missed it, Dabo Swinney came out in a press conference today and said, you know, if I grade both of these teams, and I'm paraphrasing, but if I grade some of these teams, neither one of us played great. LSU might be graded out in the 60s, and we graded like 58. And Brian Kelly said, well, either he's really good at grading or he's really bad at grading, and was a more favorable to them and not so favorable to us. We dominated them in the second half. And the truth is, guys, they did. Do not let that final score fool you of what you think that you saw. Defensively, you're really freaking good. This Louisiana Tech team that we'll preview here tonight, well, I don't know. I don't think that they're that great. And we will talk about that as well. But Brian Kelly coming from the top rope saying, no, we were really good. But in some things that we will talk about from that press conference, we talked about on Saturday night, we talked about last night, and that we'll talk about today. Guys, Brian Kelly punting on 3rd and 11 multiple times, 3rd and 8, and you're running the football and you're punting, signifies to you that he knows that this defense is really good. If a coach feels that confident to go against Clemson in week 1 when you really don't know who anybody is, means that a guy's been around a long time and he knows what he thinks that he knows that he saw. We'll talk about that. But regardless of all of that, Brian Kelly from the top freaking rope. If your head coach now is breeding confidence and has the conviction to say and do some of the things that Brian Kelly has done and said over the last 48 hours, does that trickle over to your team and they start playing with more confidence because they went into Clemson? They beat Clemson. They were able to dominate Clemson in the second half. You know, I saw some media today for Clemson saying, oh, we abandoned the running game. We should have stayed with the running game more. No, you ran the ball for 20 times, and you only had 31 yards. You got your absolute ass whooped up front. Don't try to sugarcoat what you think that you thought that you saw, because what you actually saw, if you know the game, was that Bernard Gooden, Don McKinley, the Weeks brothers, Patrick Payton, Jack Pyburn, Harold Perkins, guys, they were able to keep 6 guys in the box for a majority of the time, and they came down and they punched you right in the mouth, and there was absolutely nothing that the quote-unquote experienced offensive line at Clemson could do about it. You did to them what teams did to you a season ago. Guys, you were 108th in the country in rushing. What you saw on Saturday was we did exactly to you what teams were doing to us, and we dominated you. Brian Kelly is right. Offensively, the question becomes, can you be more explosive? Can you get the ball vertically to number 3 and number 6? Because this week, I think that is exactly what Joe Sloan's going to do. If you're going to get the maturity level that you are going to get from your quarterback, guys, you're going to find a rhythm and you're going to be really freaking good. That's where you're at. You're going to be really freaking good. The question becomes, can you consistently do that every week? But back to the main talking point here. If Brian Kelly's confidence and swag, as we talk about with a lot of these coaches, teams put on the identity of their head coach. Go out there and play with some swag. And quite frankly, for the first time in a long time, LSU's defense had swag. It had swag. You had dudes going up to the line of scrimmage getting absolutely walloped by Jack Pyburn and Harold Perkins. And they didn't want to do it anymore. Guys, Bernard Gooden, go back and watch some of these clips and films. And I want you to do this. I know a lot of you are so excited right now, and you should be. Go back and watch LSU and Clemson and watch number 88. You are welcome. In the meantime, while you're watching 88, go back and watch 96. 88 can't do what he did without 96. Just it doesn't exist. So it is what it is. When we come out of the break, we'll talk about this Louisiana Tech team. We'll preview their game, or we'll recap kind of their game against Southeastern. But what we'll do is kind of break this team down and give a preview about what I think that you're going to do to them. As FanDuel has it as a 37.5-point spread. 37.5-point spread. The over-under, by the way, is in the 50s, the low 50s. I think I would take the over. It's just me. If you have the discretionary income, go sign up at FanDuel and do that today. You have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Regardless of that, let's get to a couple of things that Brian Kelly said. Let's preview this team. Carter Bryant will join us at 7:35. I know that we got comments in here. Where is everybody watching from tonight? Adam, who is now a new member of the YouTube channel, thank you so much. If we get to about 100, we're going to start doing some members-only content on here. But thank you, Adam, for becoming a member on YouTube. He said, confirmed, Dabo sucks at grading. Yeah, he would have been a bad school teacher. A very, very, very bad school teacher. His grading sucked because, as BK said, I don't think Dabo wanted to watch in the second half that they got dominated. Because, guys, the truth is, they did. They did. Brandon with a $5 super chat says, be rich, representing the 505 via the 225. New Mexico is in the building. Good to have you in here. He says, it appears that we put it all together. We have players, coaching, determined talent, athletes. You got Brandon. I think that you did defensively. Continue to put some pieces together there. Continue to put some pieces together and some things together offensively, and I think you can get there. I think you can get there. I mean, guys, you still got a lot of tough opponents. You got to do some things offensively that can get you there. And that will be the ultimate question here. That will be the ultimate question. Speed, says Chad. Oh, 1,000%. You got speed. I want you to utilize it a little bit more. Texas Bet is in Fort Worth. The 817 is in the building. Alaska, says Donnie. The 907. How about that? You know, last week we had somebody listening to us from South Africa. In the postgame, I forget the gentleman's name, and I greatly apologize, but sent in a massive super chat and was on deployment listening into the show. Greatly appreciate that. I wonder if he was the guy who was maybe stationed there. I don't know. But Alaska is in the building. Good to have you in here with us. Waylon says, Kinder, the 337 represent. Looks like he's got the snow that came through Louisiana last year. You know, I was thinking about that as well as, man, what crazy things happen. BK goes out and spends a couple of $1 million, if not more, on the portal, gives $1 million of his own money, and it snows the most it's ever snowed in Louisiana. Coincidence? I think not. Might have a special year. Rick Cloetti says, Nashville, Music City, via the 504. Good to have you in here. Alston Snyder is in the 225, living in Florida at the current moment. Good to have you in here with us as well. All right, we got to get rolling. Every episode is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Go over to FanDuel.com. Sign up today. I forgot to post this on Saturday because it's week one. We got a lot of things going. I told you I'm going to do a 20-leg parlay every single week. $1 20-leg parlay on FanDuel. Guys, listen. If you want to go sign up for FanDuel, go right on ahead. But if you have some discretionary income, do it. I am not telling you to go over there and bet your entire life savings on any one of these games. Let's just go have some fun. Now, if you want to, I can't stop you. If you have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Go to FanDuel.com/RG. But I did not hit on my 20-leg parlay. I did take Alabama money line. Thank you, Alabama, for ruining my parlay. Also took Texas. But your boy went 17-3 on the money lines last week. Let's go have some fun. Our good friends over at FanDuel always sponsoring the show. We're glad to have them a part of this ride with us. All right, everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, notification bell. Almost to the 11,000 subscriptions on YouTube. It costs you nothing, by the way, to just hit that subscribe button. You don't even have to hit the notification bell. Just hit that subscribe button for me. We greatly appreciate it if you do that for us as well. And wherever you listen to podcasts, do us a favor and rate, review, and subscribe. We do apologize for the audio that did not make it in the post game. Well, all you know what happened by now. Let's get to a quick break. When we come back, we'll preview Louisiana Tech and LSU. We'll get to some Brian Kelly comments, and then Carter Bryant joins us. Stay with us.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check them out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Go Red. Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air, where your comfort is their top priority. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they promise to provide customers with high-quality HVAC service at an affordable price while ensuring the homeowner peace of mind. From their office to your home, they guarantee the best hassle-free experience around. Efficiency and comfort is their game. Let them make your home Grand Slam today. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they're offering their annual maintenance plan starting off at $18.75 a month and also doing those $99 tune-up promotion. They provide free estimates for system and ductwork replacement, as well as offering financing to get the job done with no money up front. From Baton Rouge to Hammond to Covington, they're all around. So what you need to do today, give them a call at 225-380-9065. That's 225-380-9065. Or go over to the website, getgrandslamair.com. That's getgrandslamair.com, where your comfort is their top priority.
We're back.
All right. I do think Brian Kelly had a lot of really good things to say today in his press conference. If you want the full thing, go over there and listen to it. I know our good friends over at Tiger Bait did post their video. But LSU does have an opponent this week. It's Louisiana Tech. And last week, Louisiana Tech faced off against Southeastern. I know that what I am about to say about Southeastern is not going to make a lot of my alma mater people really happy. Southeastern's not a good football team. They're not. They got absolutely demolished by the transfer portal, and they just have not been able to sustain and rebuild a little bit the way that they should when the transfer portal became the way that it did. I will remind you, Bauer Sharp was at Southeastern 2 seasons ago. And while at Southeastern, converted to a tight end, and now he's on your team. That is constantly what's been happening in Southeastern. I think it's very unfortunate for them, but it's the world that they currently live in if they don't want to take that next step. But regardless of all of that, they played Louisiana Tech this weekend. And I thought that I saw two teams that both looked very diminished. I thought I saw two teams when even at half, the score is 3-0 and was an outright display of pure chaos offensively from both teams. It's really interesting to see how they will try to attack LSU, knowing what you just saw from Clemson. But make no mistake about it, guys, this is their Super Bowl for a lot of these kids inside the state of Louisiana that are from this place. Some things just aren't going to change. Teams are going to want to come in here and compete against you and give you their best shot. And I don't really care what happened against Southeastern. They are going to care and want to give you their best shot. But clearly, if this team is locked in and focused and does the things that they do, clearly you're going to be fine. You're a 37.5-point favorite for a reason. And I hope that you keep that same level of intensity on both sides of the football the way that you did literally a couple of days ago against Clemson. What I thought was interesting today from Brian Kelly, and I want to throw this in there. He says, listen, if you notice up on the board in the team room, we had Clemson as the number one game, and now the only team that's up there is Louisiana Tech. Our mantra and our goal is to just be 1-0 every single week. He said that today, and in that he also said, I've already told the players in our meeting today, I'm pretty sure they had a team meeting yesterday, but regardless of that, but in the meeting that I had with them, I am going to bring you through one of the tougher practices that we've had today. Now, before we get to anything else, I did ask around. Brian Kelly wasn't lying about how demanding he was today on this team. I think everybody in that locker room knows something right now. What they know is that they could do something special if they put their minds to it. And you can't look at a team like Louisiana Tech and some of the bad displays that they showed offensively in the first half and think that you could just lollygag around. Remember Nicholls State, and Brian Kelly brought up the Nicholls State situation. But guys, you and I are talking about this, and we're not talking to the team. He has to say one thing, and you and I can have a different conversation. If this Louisiana Tech team shows up, which I'm not really expecting that to happen necessarily because of them playing you and they want to be the team that clips you. From here on out, every team's going to want to clip you because of what you are and what everybody knows that you can be. But the God's honest truth is, in the first half, Louisiana Tech had a punt, a 3-and-out, an intentional grounding, a false start, and 3 tackles for loss and a punt. They had a 3-and-out that resulted in a punt. They had a turnover on downs. They had a 3-and-out that resulted in a punt, a 3-and-out that resulted in a punt, and a field goal at the end of the half. They had 8 possessions in the first half. And they looked awful. They looked horrendous. Doesn't mean they can't find it against you, though. I want to see your defense pitch a shutout. I know what I saw in that first half, and my goodness, it was awful. I don't think Blake Baker's going to open things up defensively. Hell, I don't even know if he's going to send a lot of pressure in this game. And maybe you just say, let's go man up and play base, and let's try to get in and out of there. Get some reps, stay healthy, do what we do, because we got a really good team that's coming in here next week with Florida. Hell, College Game might be here next week, and we got a massive matchup that we have to talk about early in the season, even though you're just coming off of one. Go take it to them. I hate to say it like this, but our good friend Mikey Matuk says this all the time in a baseball term. Guys, the midweek is where you pad your stats. And I'm not saying that this is a game, and I don't want you to go out there and disrespect an opponent What I want you to do is to be locked in and focused like you were last week, and you know what you're going to do. Go out there and have fun. Go out there and dominate the way that you know that you can dominate. If you do that, you're going to get what you're ultimately looking at. But there are a couple of things that this team, when I preview, and Brian Kelly kind of said this today as well, you're going to have to open this thing up offensively. You're going to have to show some that you can get vertical. I am not firmly, a believer that you just digress some things offensively and you don't really want to show team stuff. No, what you do is that you show team stuff so that they prepare for it all week, and you do something to counteract that, and you're like, all right, well, we've been working this all week. We've been seeing this diamond formation and you throwing screens, but you got Trey Green on the other side. So they're going to throw a fade route. And you know what? We got to put a safety over there to help. And now that you cause that chaos, there's not another number on that diamond side of the formation for you to throw screens. You know what happened in the Juwan Johnson screen game? They were terrified, absolutely petrified that Trey Green was going on a vertical late in the game. And they shaded a safety over there. Kirk Herbstreit's making fun of it on the telecast. They don't have numbers. They don't have numbers. And you went 13 personnel. You had Bauer Sharp, Donovan Green, and Trey Green on the field that made them go to a big base. And you spread them out wide because you got a freak of a tight end on the outside. When you watch Southeastern, I know they didn't score a point, but my God, that boundary side for Louisiana Tech did not look good. Go take it to them. Go take it to them. Unless angels come down from the heavens and possesses this Louisiana Tech team, and it's like angels in the outfield, but in a football form, go take it to their ass. I want a shutout, and it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. But, guys, Southeastern shut this team down for a half. A half. Don't lollygag like it was Nickel State. Be 1-0 every week. If you do it early in the season and you're not just big up for the game against Clemson, you're not little down for games against teams like Louisiana Tech, you can control what you can control. Now, the second half, this offense for Louisiana Tech did score 17 points, but, guys, they just were not a good team. They're not a good team when you watch them. They're going to come in here and try to give you the best punch they got early. And here's the thing. If you go out there and dominate them early and they throw their best punch at you, it's going to go the way that you want it to go. There are a couple of things that I need to see. And we will talk about this a lot tomorrow. A lot tomorrow. I need you to be vertical offensively. I want this defense to be in a situation where, listen, do what you do. Show us that this is what it really is, because we all know that it is. Don't play around with them. Don't play around. You remember the Northwestern State game in 19? I got obliterated on this here show for saying the score is going to be 63-17. And everybody's like, Blake, there's no way they're scoring 17 points on us. Don't play around with them. Go take it to them, and let's get out of here and prepare for Florida next week. I need to see you establish the run game more effectively too. If Southeastern can do it, with all due respect, you should be able to do what you did against Clemson in a much better rendition. I like the people in the three. I love the people of the 3-1-8. I hate to be the one to break this to you. They're just not a good team. And we'll talk about it ad nauseum. But, guys, here's the God's honest truth before we get to Carter. They can't run the football. They can't throw it. They can't throw the football effectively. Their offensive line gave up literally 7 hurries and pressures in the first half. The first half. Unless this team just figures something out and they get a lot better in week 2 and they give you problems, you need to go take it to them. I'm still sending pressure. Let's go man-to-man. Please, let's go send some heat and get after the quarterback and let a young freshman DJ Pickett go out there and let him throw the ball at him and see what happens. See what happens. You can learn a lot from this team in this game. Here's the other truth I will tell you. I really do feel like you learn a lot in games like this. You learn a lot in the sense of, okay, you're taking some shots vertical. Can we do that again? Can we do that when it matters? Because if you can't do it when it doesn't matter, you can't do it when it is. And I'm not saying every game matters. Just go do it and show the people that you can do it. Billy's going to be Billy Napier. Whether you like him, love him, or hate him, you know what you're getting from them. Go show that you can be the team that you really can be. All right. Got a couple of super chats in here. 903 Texas Tiger says, Blake, I know Kelly says 1-0 each week, but what two teams in the season scares you? We don't know what we don't know about Florida. I would say Florida right now because of their defensive line. We don't know what we don't know. They play South Florida this week. This team does not scare me in the slightest. A&M hit on all the guys that they got in the portal at receiver. Oklahoma, and listen, you still got to play Bama. I know you're all down on them. I get it. Let's make sure that they're a really shitty team before we start like rendending that they're a really shitty team. You get what I'm saying? Guys, that team lost to Vanderbilt last year. They went 6-6. 6-6. And they still came in here and whipped your ass. Let's just make sure they go out there again this week and they look as bad as they did. I don't think that they will, but those are probably the four teams. And South Carolina, Lenore Sellers scares the shit out of me. Lenore Sellers by far scares the shit out of me the most. Maybe not with this defense, but, I mean, he's a freak. Monkey Business 5 on YouTube with a $5 super chat says, do you think this offense was conservative to control clock? So, glad you asked that. We'll get to Carter right after this. I will pull the tweet up if I need to, but when LSU ran the ball on 3rd and 11 and they punted, I tweeted this out. I was like, considering how aggressive you were on 3rd and longs a season ago, considering you just ran the ball on 3rd and 11 and you punted it, and Brian Kelly tried to pin them deep, and it literally tells you that Brian Kelly has all the confidence in the world that you're going to dominate defensively. We've never seen Brian Kelly be that conservative, ever. They've always gone for it, whether it's Jaden or whether it's been Garrett. They've always been ultra aggressive, whether you want to agree with that or not. Sometimes they've been too aggressive. So, do I think that you were conservative offensively? Yes. I didn't think you wanted to put the balls in harm's way a lot. And you gave Garrett a lot of easy throws, but he made some really big throws too. A couple over the middle of the field, the one to Barion, the fade to Trey'Dez. I don't think they were conservative, but in a lot of ways they were too. Lucky says 17 points Sellers against Virginia Tech scares you. How about this, Lucky? They scored the same amount of points against Old Dominion, and last year they ran all over everybody. There was a stat in the month of November, Cam Newton had broken like over 200 tackles. Lenore Sellers snapped that streak last season. Yeah, he should scare you. Like, why wouldn't you? You're going to face good quarterbacks. Great quarterbacks should always scare you. Physically imposing quarterbacks should always scare you. Confirmed to me that you just don't know ball, man. Just being honest. All right, let's get to a break. Carter Bryant next. Stay with us. Hey, Southwest Louisiana. Are you ready to gear up for your next outdoor adventure or tackle that next big job on the farm? Then head on over to Henderson Tractors, Boats, and Power Sports. At Henderson and Lake Charles, they've got everything you need under one massive 30,000 square foot indoor showroom. Kubota tractors and mowers to power through the toughest tasks. Polaris off-road bikes and side-by-sides to conquer any trail. And tracker boats with brands like Ranger, Nitro, Sun Tracker, and Regency pontoons for a day out on the water. Whether you're a farmer or a hunter or just someone who loves the great outdoors, Henderson has what you need to get the job done and have fun while doing it. Browse their new and used inventory over at their website, hendersonimplement.com. That's hendersonimplement.com. Or give them a call today at 337-436-4366. That's 337-436-4366. Or go see them over in Lake Charles on the corner of East McNee Street and Highway 14. Remember, if you need a tractor, go to Henderson. Need a boat, go to Henderson. Or if you need an ATV or side-by-side, you know where to go. Henderson. Just let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by.
We're back.
Carter, the Power Bryant. Good evening, good sir. How are you?
I need some energy in the chat, Blake. This is a 1-0 physical tackle football team. And I know you saw this earlier today. Trenton Richardson talking about that offensive lineman. You know what?
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see that? So he was on an Alabama show, and he said that it was frustrating when he saw and you know this as an offensive lineman, when you pancake someone, you slowly just kind of
clip of the Florida State player doing what he did.
I was happy that LSU was able to do that some this weekend. We played some physical ass tackle football, baby. Shout out to Bernard Gooden. Shout out to Jack Pyburn. Shout out to that offensive line, Patrick Payton, also doing the damn thing. It's so much harder to dominate the trenches when you're on the road, Blake, especially when it's as juiced up as it was at Clemson, especially considering every LSU fan that we all knew that was at that game was sitting next to Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Are you freaking kidding me? I better see the LSU fans or the Clemson fans next year in Tiger Stadium. They better be sitting in Mars. They better be sitting in Uranus. I mean, goodness, great. Can LSU, at least one LSU fan get a decent seat? It was crazy, but the truth is, Blake, that was one of the best road victories in LSU football history, understanding the pressure, the time, and the situation. And I give Brian Kelly, outside of that one massive mistake, a lot of credit for the messaging on and off the field to get this team ready to go.
Well, look, and he owned it. He owned the mistake. They should have kicked the field goal.
Yes. And it's sad because his analytical model told him to go for it. We talked about this privately earlier today.
Screw that analytical model.
Yes, you have to factor in rationality. And I tweeted out at the time, I was like, oh, God, the model's going to tell him to go for it. And it's like, you don't go for it there. You always kick the field goal there. Even if you have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce,
Well, I don't mind going for it. I mind that you throw a screen route to Chris Hilton when you had other players that are more shifty than him.
Right. You go down with that play as well. It's insane to me. But Blake, from a film perspective, we know you've watched it. I've watched it through and through. That was one of the better coach games of the Brian Kelly regime.
Oh, no doubt.
And here's the thing. All the other season opener games were not coached well. They were coached atrociously. There was a bunch of big errors being made. And after all the false start penalties and the timeouts, things really cleaned up in that second half. And honestly, Blake, this game was about the little things. You know, you've tweeted it out some of the little clips from players like Kyle Parker making big blocks, Donovan Green having a huge block on Peter Woods to help out Weston Davis to get Caden Durham in there.
Well, even Weston Davis, I mean, this is why I tweeted this out about Weston Davis. Holding the hands of Peter Woods and then making him do the chicken dance, because he catches his hands and then brings him in, and he's got nowhere to go, and then he gets a rib shot by Donovan Green. He does not score without Weston Davis, who I thought played against TJ Parker, and Peter Woods had some really good reps in hand placement.
Right. And then one other guy, Caleb Jackson, on a Zavon run.
Yeah, hit Peter Woods.
Had a huge block.
Yeah.
And you got to be fearless. And the funny thing is Caleb is massive for a running back. But, you know, Peter Woods is massive. And those little things obviously come together for you to win a game. And honestly, Blake, you do have to shout out Garrett Nussmeier and Caden Durham.
Yeah.
That dude, you know, Caden's run on the first play of the game is one of the better LSU runs or broken tackles I can remember to really set the tone. You can look at the sideline, LSU going crazy. I know that the LSU staff was really fired up about that play. It was so big, right? It let everyone know that we're here. We're going to try and run the football. And what was funny was I really felt that play gave the LSU blocking some momentum, because they're like, okay, we did not block that play well. Now imagine if we do block plays well, we're going to get some good runs. And that really helped LSU get this run game going, which was critical.
All right, well, let's stay on the offensive side of things. What was the thing that stood out to you the most offensively against Clemson?
There were some guys, Blake, that made themselves so valuable to this team where it's going to be hard to take them off the field, right? Obviously, Barian Brown made some big plays. Aaron Anderson's the best receiver on this team. But Zavon Thomas, that was, you know, this term, and Blake, cliches are just so overused in sports. But Swiss Army knife is what Zavon Thomas was.
No, it's exactly what he was.
He drew a pass interference penalty for a first down. Huge block on a Jawan Johnson run down the left sideline. Carried the ball 3 times for 26 yards. Also had a huge reception on a dig route from Garrett Nussmeier. Also drew a pass interference flag that got a first down. And then also had the tackle after the Chris Hilton fumble where he stuck his head in there, took a big hit. Who knows? Maybe the Clemson guy is able to get his feet and take that to the house going the other way. There's just guys like that it's really hard to take them off the field because they do those little things. And he had a punt return as well. I almost forgot that. It's ridiculous how good he was in this game. And then obviously offensively, Braylon Moore. It's huge, absolutely huge to go from the center play you had last year to where you are now. You know, SEC Offensive Player of the Week, where Braylon Moore was fantastic in this game. Like, center play means more to you than basically anyone else in the LSU beat. You know how difficult this position is, and it was
vertical.
A position
got so vertical,
right? And
got vertical a lot in the run game.
And here's the thing: is this is not me, you know, piling on LSU last year. They just did not have those games at center last year, and Braylon was fan-freaking-tastic. And it's so big. It is so big. It helped everyone get organized. He was a leader out there in a very difficult matchup. The snaps were mostly good. And then, you know, offensively, Garrett. The turnovers weren't there, which was really good. And to your point about getting vertical, all right, you are so right. Because this game plan is easy to work around, right? You're not just going to be able to screen to death a lot of teams like LSU was able to do versus Clemson. Teams know that you now have that in your arsenal. You now have to pair that with some vertical shots. Now, in LSU's defense, they did try some of those vertical shots off those screens. Clemson defended them well. So that's where a guy like Chris Hilton is still going to be involved.
Why are we throwing – but here's the thing. Why are we throwing fade shot? I get the pass interference on Wood-ass. That's one thing. Why are we throwing a fade to trade as on against a safety. Like, I get it. I get it. Why not put Chris or Barry on there? Like, if you're going to throw it 45 yards out, freaking throw that thing.
Right. So you're talking about the slot fade in the first.
I'm talking about the slot fade to the right in the first half that stalled the drive. You know, like you get a 25-yard run and then you go vertical with Trey Dez. Why not get Barry on in that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I will say Trey Dez was tugged on that play, but that's not.
But it was so badly overthrown. Not saying Garrett had bad. I mean, it was 7 yards out of bounds. I mean, it's not catchable.
It wasn't a great throw. You want a faster player in that spot,
right?
But you know, I think Chris still is going to have a role. That's been the number one question I've had is, well, what do you think about Chris Hilton? Or, you know, why didn't so and so play more? We won the game. The gameplay was perfect. But there still is going to be a role for Chris moving forward because of the vertical option that he gives this offense.
Look, Clemson was not great in the run game defensively a year ago. They just weren't. I think this offensive line is still up in the air to me because of the fact that you got Florida coming into town in a couple of weeks. And I've already been on record in the preseason saying that it's of my opinion that Florida's defensive line is the best. And I said this on Rufino and Joe, like all offseason. I thought that they were better. They're a better defensive line than what Clemson had. I think Caleb Banks is way far better than Peter Woods, and I think Sapp is more physical in the run game than anything that you got from TJ Parker. But to your point, I thought that they did not a good job on some of these runs. Even Mabanga did an elite job of cleaning out the trash. What do I mean by that? I've been talking about this all offseason. Braylon Moore cleans out the trash. It's like D3 Mighty Ducks when they got a new coach. Defensively, clean out the trash for run lanes. The long run by Zavon, the first run where he got vertical and went backside. That play last year gets blown up because Paul Mabanga does not clean up the trash. You already have two guys that have gotten vertical with Thompson, and you got another guy in Braylon Moore that got vertical on I think it was Woodaz earlier in that. Mabanga's block on the opposite side, 3-tech, is just so massive that sparks that for some of the – I know it sounds crazy, but for some of those, you're not going to move a lot of people around like that. You're going to have to hit cutbacks. But I thought getting Zavon the football early in the run game is something we saw a lot in camp and that they got to continue to do because I do think you might be a little deficient at that second running back spot, and that's why you replicated the run game. All those screens to Juwan Johnson is just replicating the run game.
It is, yeah.
It's all that you're going numbers on numbers. So, and then they hit him with Aaron Anderson, and God forbid if we didn't have a penalty on that second Aaron Anderson screen, he's going for 7. He's gone for 7. There's nobody there, and so. I thought, here's what I think about you offensively, and I'll kick it back over to you.
Oh, let's go.
Did I feel like that you left so much shit on the field and you didn't even open it up?
Yeah, I mean, LSU, this was my favorite thing, is they were the better team for 4 quarters of that game. It never really felt like LSU wasn't in control, right? And I just keep going back to not only being the better team on the field, not only the calls not going in your favor, and, you know, fans tend to overrate the whistle, but it really didn't go. A lot of the 50-50 stuff didn't go in LSU's favor.
At all.
But, you know, 3 of their points were the Bauer Sharp fumble, which you give a lot of credit. He saved 4 extra points chasing it down. And then they had 1 drive on you, basically, where Foster Moreau rightfully pointed out that there should have been a blindside block penalty on that pick play. So, really, I mean, LSU dominated this game for 4 quarters, and it was a lot of their own self-inflicted wounds. And it goes back to the viral Dabo quote from earlier today, right? The 65 versus 58 thing. I will say, I hope he's right. I hope he's right that this was us only at 65%. Are you kidding me? If that is true, LSU has a legitimate shot of doing something truly, truly, truly special. Now, I don't agree with that. Obviously, you should factor in time and situation and understanding the magnitude of it being a season opener. But what if he is right? What if it is, hey, we could
Then
be
you're
even
playing for a
better?
national title. That's what it means.
Yes. And
Because
I
as scary as it sounds, it means the defense is going to be better too.
yeah, and look, you give so many different people a lot of credit. The tight end play was really good in this game from LSU blocking wise. It was really good. So
The one thing I'll say, the
Let's go.
Trades block on TJ Park on that first run, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave it alone because
I didn't like to watch it.
All right. I mean, he's pushing. Brother, I don't give a shit. You dominated them sometimes. There were some points in times where you just bent them over and clapped them cheeks. I mean, I'm just being real. And you know what I saw, too? I saw an offensive line that's going to get better at left guard and right tackle. I thought Weston Davis had an okay game. There were some points and times, though, that I'm like, all right, that's a 5-star. Like, legitimately, like I felt like I was watching early Emory Jones in a way of like, all right, he got beat here, but it was so aggravating. The next play, he drives Will Anderson off the football, right? Like, those are some things I felt like I saw. You got to be better there, and you're going to get tested in 2 weeks, so it'll be interesting. All right. Let's get to the main crux of this. Do you know what Harold Perkins and Blake Baker and Bernard Gooden and Don McKinley, who I thought had a bigger game that nobody's talking about, and Jack Pyburn and the Weeks brothers and Mansour Delane and A.J. Halsey and Tamarcus Cooley and D.J. Pickett and P.J. Woodland said to the entire country on Saturday?
We're back.
Carter, what did we see from this LSU defense?
Yeah, that's one of the best LSU defensive performances of all time. Like, I know that sounds like hyperbole, but understanding where we were as a defense, this being their first game, Blake dialing up a bunch of nasty stuff. He was fantastic with his calls. The
P.J. Woodland one, I know it's the first drive of the game. That's beautiful. And then that play really should have been an assist to Jack Pyburn.
Right.
If Pyburn does not pull out Treston Lee, he does not come in the D gap and make that sack. It was a sacrificial play by Jack Pyburn.
And BK brought that up earlier too.
I know.
And it's crazy. Woodland was fantastic in his own right. And look, AJ Halsey really got this team lined up, ready to go, along with Jordan Gilbert stepping in the first half. It really was that great of a defensive game. I think it'd be silly to say that this Clemson offense is going to be a 30-point per game offense in all their other games. It really was that good. Bernard Gooden just tore people apart. Patrick Payton did a lot of good things where he had a bunch of almost plays, but those pressures really
forced
affected.
The pick.
Right.
He forced the pick. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was partially Blake Baker sending the blitz to get him open to create that pressure. It was a really, really, really good defensive performance. And on top of that, it is nice that the LSU defensive back group is not only competent. What do we say all offseason, Blake? We just want competency. We just want John Battle out there. We just want decent. But this could be a spectacular group. This could be a group. While it may not be as good as like 2011, that was when it was the norm. We have had some defensive back withdrawals, if you will. And now that Mansour Delane is just shutting down one side of the field, it just gives you so much more freedom to do whatever you want to do defensively. If you're able to play lockdown man-to-man coverage on the back end, you can get so exotic on the front end. And here's something that's interesting is a guy like Whit Weeks, who missed a few plays here or there. he's just so difficult to block, even when you do pick him up in
And
pressure.
Donovan Keys gave him really good reps to where he could take off. Carter, the thing to me was, we're not talking about this a lot. The depth that LSU defensively had and the rotations that they ran out there gave everybody hey man, I've only played 45 plays. Like I'm a lot fresher than you are. And I think it really affected how things turned out. I will tell you this to your Mansour thing and what we saw in that secondary. Yes, I thought even Jordan Gilbert, played good. I thought the tackle that he made on the Klubnik scramble saved you a drive. I mean, Jordan Gilbert's not making that tackle a season ago. No. Here's the thing. P.J. Woodland's going to start getting attacked more, and so is D.J. Pickett. I think teams are going to start throwing their direction, and you got to be good. You don't have to be special. You don't have to be Derek Stingley on the opposite side of Christian Fulton, but I will remind you, I get it's 2019 that I'm comparing this to. Remember early in the season, a lot of teams threw at Christian Fulton early and did not late. Teams started taking shots legitimately at Stingley and saying, hey, young buck, figure it out. We know you're talented, but figure it out. They're about to do that to DJ and PJ. They're 100% going to start opening it up to them, because now it would be malpractice unless Mansour just has an off night, but it would be malpractice to not start attacking the other boundary corner. The problem is, even in the connection to Wesco, I thought it was still really freaking good coverage on the knee, the play where the knee was down.
That's not a catch either. The Wesco play, I don't think I could go.
You didn't have longer than the second until the ball came out. The problem is he's down, and you have a full second of possession.
It's just if there's ball fighting, if you will, I'm always going to lean towards.
Even so, the
coverage was good. Your point.
The coverage was good, and I don't want to fight over the semantic of it. Who cares at this point? But God, it was really good coverage. I mean, man, I hope that I just want him to. I want him to pitch a shutout this week. I'm going to ask you about Louisiana Tech in a minute. I want him to pitch a shutout. Stay aggressive. Let's turn the page on the defense for just a second. I got to ask you some individual questions. Let's talk about a couple of players whose films were ridiculous. Harold Perkins. My God. Carter, we talked about this in the preseason. He's all over the place in practice. And the question was, Blake Carter, is this going to translate in games? Hello. Carter, they're running a 4-3 in a lot of regards. And West is coming off, and they're making Harold very dynamic in this nickel package. Harold Perkins played his ass off, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he is one of the best closers in LSU history. It feels like
he's always coming in like a rocket ship, dude.
Mariano Rivera, Enter Sandman, Harold Perkins in the fourth quarter.
And everybody knows he's throwing a cutter, and you can't stop it.
Can't do it. I mean, you go back Florida 2022, Auburn, obviously Arkansas, and now we're here. Arkansas in 2023 as well. That was wrongly called for a penalty. He's truly a one-of-one type of athlete, and hopefully it keeps getting better. He seemed comfortable in coverage. I thought Clemson would run a play called Hoss Juke quite a bit. It's a Patriot staple. LSU runs it quite a bit, where it's going to be Perk lined up against a slot receiver, and he did pretty well in that situation. They tried to do it a few times, and
Randall out of the backfield a couple of times, and he was in coverage.
And he held his own. Now, will that continue? I think it can, because look, that was the team that you would think would be able to take advantage of it. A quarterback an experienced quarterback with 3 receivers back and an OC who knows the offense. Now, I mean, how many slot receivers just petrify you?
Concepcion would probably be the only one right now.
Yeah, I mean, I know Eugene Wilson's interesting at Florida, but still, I think, and I keep going back to Mansour Delane, if you have one corner that just shuts down one side of the field, it gives you a lot more help just basically everywhere else. And
but I don't think Perkins is able to do what he does, because when they went a shitty slot guy, they would put Tamarcus Cooley on him.
Right. And look, it doesn't really matter if Cooley gets beat or Perkins gets beat. It's going to happen. I will say to the other side of it, I do think Cade missed quite a bit of stuff in this game that was given to him, and obviously LSU will clean that up. There were a few busts that Cade just missed, and that right there was something that really stood out to me, Blake. Everyone made this a Garrett Nussmeier versus Cade Klubnik thing, and Garrett just outclassed him in every way imaginable.
He did.
And what's hilarious is he was a better runner than Cade in this game, right? Cade had a few scrambles in this game, but you would have never thought that Garrett would have some of the plays with his legs. His own read pull was absolutely a thing of beauty that we've all been calling for. You yourself tweeting insistently about it, and we finally get it. And just showing that on tape is going to help out the LSU run game as well. So
it literally did on Zavion's second run. Newsflash.
It does change things that a quarterback is just able to pull it, and just even you just falling down after you picking up the 7 or 8 yards. It just opens so much up.
Yeah, we're gonna get to Garrett in a deep segment in just a minute with you. But
okay, yeah, let's get to it. Let's go.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, to finish on Perkins though. I mean,
it was a fantastic game. And one other thing is, I still think there is a world where you can still, in some third down packages, really shock some teams and just line them up and rush them off the edge. And even though you have so many great edge rushers, there's limitless opportunities for LSU.
There was a snap where they went 4 edge guys. They went Perk, Pyburn, Butler, Payton.
And the funny thing is, and before we get to Garrett, I do think one thing as play callers that people forget is play calling is oftentimes storytelling in many ways, right? Mm-hmm. When we watch other football games that aren't LSU and we aren't watching every snap, it's important to note that every play affects the next play in some way, right? It may be some, it may be a lot. Like if you show a look, do something else. LSU offensively did a really good job of telling a story, right? And the story was, hey, we're going to throw a lot of screens. We're going to throw a lot of things to the running backs out of the backfield. But what we're also going to do is show you that look and do different things. The Aaron Anderson play was exactly that. The
Barion screen. They thought they were throwing it to Caden, right?
Right. And, that was actually one big thing. I said it on your show last week, was Clemson really struggled throwing to the running backs out of the backfield. And even though, Juwan had a few catches, even though that's not what hurt Clemson, a lot of what they did offensively was built off of that threat of throwing to Caden out of the backfield. So you go to the defensive side, LSU did a really good job of telling a story with Harold Perkins, because Clemson was always worried about where he was, and they did a good job not just sending him every time. And when he actually was sent, Clemson wasn't fully ready for it. And that goes for pretty much everyone. That one PJ Woodland blitz sets the tone for the rest of the night, where the offensive line is thinking, well, the corner blitz might come. And when you get it, it's so important why the Garrett Nussmeier, you pull it once, the defense has to worry about it the rest of the game. Let's go back to the Patrick Payton play. Okay. When someone like PJ Woodland blitzes from one angle, guess what? The offensive line is always going to be worried about blitzes. And guess what? They had 5 guys to block 5 guys, but 2 of them were worried about with Weeks. And that actually might be the call. You block it inside out, and they both took Weeks. And now you
always squeeze.
Right?
Squeeze, right.
Right. Sometimes you got to squeeze.
Squeeze that hiney.
Yeah. So I think LSU
our call was called clinch, because you squeeze your butt cheeks, you squeeze your butt cheeks. Clinch was our call for all out.
And the offensive line was guessing. Now, One final thing on the offensive line. Tristan Lee was abused. Oh,
yes.
My goodness.
Well, the play with Pyburn and Perk when they met the running back in the hole, Tristan Lee got abused.
It was bad. And, man, that recruiting.
Pyburn, Jesus, Marion Joseph. His physicality alone, the 3rd and 5 run where they try to run power and he blew it up, and it was PJ Woodland. PJ Woodland runs or in wet weeks runs it down, and he can't get anywhere. It doesn't. Some of this shit doesn't happen without Pyburn,
right?
And just his ferocity. I mean, Pyburn's film, when you look at it, I know you pointed this out some, but he set up so much shit with his aggressiveness.
Yeah, and honestly, you're gonna start seeing his real value.
You saw
coming up, right? You saw some of it, but man, against the run, he's just a game changer. He is one of the best 2-gap squeeze down the run defensive ends you'll see. And I know I'm biased towards
his
Jack,
leverage is elite. He's got elite
really good.
Yeah. I thought really Don McKinley and I thought the whole D line. I mean, we didn't really get to Bernard Gooden because I want to get to Garrett.
Yeah.
Bernard Gooden, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. You talked about Jesus, Mary, and Joseph earlier. Bernard Gooden, hello. You are Carter, hello. I told you, brother. I mean, listen, people thought I was out here being crazy. He whipped our offensive line's ass. He was obliterating their ass. He didn't make quote-unquote plays, but Jesus, he was disruptive, dude. I mean, good Lord. And none of that gets set up without Don McKinley. None of it. Because he can play that 3-tech, and they're so worried about Dom in the middle, and he ate blocks, but he ate blocks beautifully. It was beautiful display. But Bernard Gooden, good Lord, dude.
Yeah, and it was nasty. He looked like
ragdolled.
It looked like a guy that wore 72 once.
All right, calm down.
Some of the players. Now he's not. I don't think he's that good. I'm just saying some of those.
Good Lord,
it was violent.
The run play, was it Klubnik? I think it might have been Gideon. The run play where he physically just like manhandles the guard on the outside run. You know what I'm talking about?
No,
I'll send it to you on Twitter. I think Coach Dan Casey posted this on Twitter. There is a run play where he picks up the guard and throws him to the left, and the running back's got to cut it out. He's got to cut it outside, and Perkins obliterates the human being.
The pass rush where he just threw the guard over the right guard, it was just nasty. He was filthy. He was really good.
You did to Clemson what teams did to you a year ago.
Yeah. Games are won in the middle.
They're one in the middle. Before I get you out of here, we got to talk about Garrett. The biggest storyline, or one of the biggest storylines for me coming out of camp, and I told you a lot of this off camera, and now I'm going to bring it up personal. 3 days into camp, we are on the phone talking on the way home from practice. The maturity level. I mean, Carter, I don't care that is his best performance to date. Everybody will talk about the 350, 400-yard games, the 4-touchdown games, the Georgia second half. No. The best game Garrett Nussmeier has ever had just existed. He was in full control. You know how I know? When Tyree Adams came out, the protection things that he did with Caden Durham and Tradez Green on TJ Parker, and then to know DJ's going to give up this rush, I got to move right and hit Kyle Parker is not good, not great. It's elite shit. It shows me that somebody's matured. On the 3 plays that DJ Chester came in, Tradez checked TJ Parker. Caden Durham checked him, and there was the one that he hit the check down to Durham, and it went for 11. Him knowing everything and him being in full control sets you up for something special. I'm telling you, he was on his bag. He knew everything that was coming.
Yeah, and you go back to Jaden's big jump. You listen to the interviews that Jaden did. He was talking about specifically the things that he needed to do to get better. And Garrett specifically said, hey, I need to run more. I need to get out of my comfort zone and run more, not make the game-changing mistakes.
Well, it's not the biggest thing he worked on. I'm told that the biggest thing he worked on was knowing exactly what they were doing. An understanding of protections was the biggest thing that he worked on all offseason. That's what I'm told.
And one thing I will say as far as Garrett is the deep ball accuracy to Berrien Brown was elite. One of his best throws he has ever made.
The best throw he's made since the one to Georgia to Malik. Let's just be real.
Oh yeah, that one was special. The cover 2 hole shot. It was crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, it was truly quarterback mastery. And it was just all the little things, all the checks. And I know that can lead to penalties, but now, especially with an offensive line where you want as many advantages as you can for that group, you want him doing that, right? And he was rarely wrong. Now, to your point, did he get away with a few? Yeah, he got away with a few. In particular, he needs to work on when ends drop out on those outs. That was probably his worst mistake. There was a few other risky ones, but
the one to Terrell to Aaron Anderson in the first half.
Yeah, that was tough.
That
was tough. And yeah, he got a little lucky, but it wasn't as many interceptable throws that you would see in a Garrett game. But the processing is incredible. He is still, to me, one of the best college quarterbacks at throwing over the intermediate middle, and we saw
no
it.
doubt.
It is truly insane, the processing power that he has. And it's also insane, Blake, because 3rd and longs are hard. The 3rd and long conversion of Berrien was big. And he doesn't have so for instance, I do a lot of Taylor Green breakdowns of Arkansas. He converts so many 3rd and longs just with his legs, right? Same thing with Sellers and so on and so on. Garrett is a better 3rd and long quarterback than those guys, and he doesn't have that type of speed to just run out of a situation. The fact that he's always able to find an answer on these 3rd and longs are crazy. LSU was 4-11 on third down in this game, but still you saw what this man could do as a quarterback for LSU. So you saw all the little things that he does, and hopefully those continue, and it will continue this weekend versus Louisiana Tech.
Got to get vertical, Carter.
Yeah.
Got to get vertical.
And that's the hard pill to swallow if you're an LSU fan watching this. And this would be a major takeaway from anything that I say tonight is, yes, that was an amazing game plan to get through that first game. And yes, this LSU team is good enough. I think now, Blake, since you've won this game, and since we know that some of these teams on our schedule had some tough action in this first week, most notably Alabama, would you agree with me? LSU, it would be a colossal failure if they're not at least a 10-2 team. Colossal failure.
At this point, yes.
Yes.
But you don't know what Florida is. You don't know what South Carolina is. Here's the truth. You don't know what Bama is right now.
Oh, so you think this could be a buy low for Bama right here?
No. I'm just very reluctant to give up on teams in week 1. I don't care who they are. I'm not giving up on a team in week 1. That team still lost to 6-6 Vandy a year ago. We still lost to Troy, and then the following week beat Florida.
Yeah.
Let's just pause. we want them to be complete ass.
Of course. Yeah.
Of course. We want Alabama to be complete ass. I want Bama to be complete ass as an LSU fan. I don't think we're that lucky. Like, I still think that they got enough athletes to where you look at them and you're coming off a bye week. They're coming off a bye week. What do you do there? However, I don't think you're losing I don't think you're losing 3 games in the next 11 weeks. No.
Okay. Yes. So this team has got to make the playoff this year.
I mean, yeah, they do.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yes, they do.
Okay. That's the only reason I'm here. I just want to.
Yes, they have to see how fun the playoff is now, Mister. I don't like the playoff.
Well, no. I want my team to go to the college. It's not that I hate the playoff. It's just not everything to me.
I have a video of you saying, Blake, the playoff means absolutely nothing to me. Now that your team's
to the regular season, it does
go to the playoff. You're like, my God, I love the playoff now.
I want my team to go to the playoff, yes, but I'm not too worried. We won't get into the 8 versus 9 debate, but what I will say is I just got done watching the Oklahoma film, and 32 carries for 103 yards in a win.
Carter, their offensive line got dominated.
Dude, it was crazy to me.
Well, hold on. That Oklahoma offensive line also did something to Alabama going up there. I'm not. Let's just hold off. We got a lot.
Yeah, I know. I'm giving them grace because.
Let me just tell you this: you get past Ole Miss and you're 4-1 or 5-1, whatever it would be at that time. Actually, you might be 5-0 going into Ole Miss. You get there, you beat Ole Miss. Yeah, you better not. You better.
Yeah. So yes. So if you beat Ole Miss, you'll be 5-0.
Carter, Austin Simmons threw 2 picks Saturday. By the way, they gave up 191 yards rushing. Did Ole Miss 191?
Well, I bet they're under on their win total. So that was kind of that was more of a defensive bet than offensive bet. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like you. You never want to take too much away from week 1 victory because this could.
What if Florida State wins the ACC?
Dude,
you could say, "Oh, well, what?" I mean, why do we have to assume that Florida State still sucks? But the thing is, that team also got beat by Vanderbilt last year.
I will also say that I'm glad people are starting to witness the greatness of Gus Malzahn. I've always been a Gus bus driver. What'd you say?
We're going through all this for Gus Malzahn to be the head coach of Arkansas next year.
Blake, you want to get down into that history? It's a juicy one.
No, not really, because I'm ready.
It's so the It is funny though that Eli Drinkowitz at the University of Arkansas. He's a Springdale, Arkansas guy, and Malzahn is a Springdale, Arkansas guy. He actually started in Arkansas Springdale high school football. I don't know if he'd ever take it because I don't think he likes him. But.
What does Florida look like this week versus South Florida? That's the real question.
So this has been, and this was in my chat earlier tonight that I think Alexander, who might be in here, he's betting the house on USF this weekend. The Golshius. You're wearing ghost green. You're wearing ghost green.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls. The Fighting Jason Pierre-Pauls. Let's go. Or I should say, let's go, Jason Pierre-Paul.
Let's go, Jason Pierre-Paul.
Did you get it? It was a firework joke.
Carter, everybody got it. Just because I didn't laugh doesn't mean just because your joke doesn't land doesn't mean that nobody didn't hear it.
I bombed.
It's like if a bear shits in the woods, does anybody smell it? No, because nobody's there.
Yeah.
Does a tree fall in the woods? Does it make noise? Yes, it makes noise. But if no one's there to hear it, then how do you know?
No, you don't.
Yeah, no clue.
God is the only expert. Yeah.
See you on Monday or Tuesday. Next
All
week.
right,
I have
Blake.
no idea what we're doing.
What-
See you, buddy.
One final thing, Blake.
Okay.
I want people to know that Arch Manning, is he going to turn it around? I just got to know. I just got to get your opinion. Man.
Again, brother, hold on. Do you think Garrett Nussmeier is one of, if not the best quarterback in college football right now? Yes or no?
Oh, he's clearly
Stop.
one or two.
He threw 2 pick sixes versus Southern. This is the first time this kid's starting. Stop.
But did he not start 3 games last year?
No, he started 2 against the 2 worst teams on their schedule.
ULM and
Mississippi State. And he threw 2 picks against ULM. So this isn't anything that we don't know. Again, Garrett threw multiple picks against Southern. He threw multiple picks against South Alabama a year ago. Doesn't mean that guys can't progress. We got to stop with this, man. The only reason he's taken as much heat as he's taken is because he's a Manning. The only reason he got the hype that he got was because he was a Manning.
But some of
he's
those
still a quarterback.
Some of those throws were just there, and it was just
Carter. How can you have watched Garrett Nussmeier throw 2 pick sixes versus Southern and say a kid can't develop?
No, I'm not saying he can. It's just I just don't think
y'all stop with that. Y'all stop with that.
No. I still think he's good. I still think he's going to be good.
Y'all are crazy.
But dude, it was the shallow drag miss with that little sidearm thing was so it's just seared in my brain. Seared.
Y'all are idiots if you think that kid can't progress and be better.
I think he will.
By the way, didn't Eli in his second start throw 5 interceptions? Didn't Peyton Manning have a season as a rookie in the NFL where he threw 33 of them? You gotta give grace.
I am. I have a cousin named Grace. I love the name Grace. Grace is Grace is amazing.
Yeah, Jesus gives it to you.
Yes.
The only reason that you're still alive by his grace.
So
you're gonna start making me sing hymnals.
Well, there you go. So none of your bold SEC opinions. You're still in on Georgia. You're still in. Okay. And we won't know anything about Georgia. Tennessee becomes so big.
Stock down, Bama. Stock A&M offensively up. Defensively for them down.
A&M versus Jeff Traylor's a good coach. So we're Georgia Tennessee becomes so sexy. I want Georgia Tennessee.
Aguilar was still ass. But I need you to do me.
You thought Aguilar was ass?
He went 50%.
Blake. You can't say Joey Aguilar was ass.
Okay. Next week they face Georgia. And you're going to come in here on the Monday and be like, oh, Blake, I guess you were right. And I'm going to say, yeah, I was.
They don't play Georgia in 2 weeks. They play ETSU next week. Georgia's week 3.
That's what I said, in 2 weeks.
Okay, I thought you said next week. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think game day goes to LSU Florida, or do you
LSU Florida? It's going to be a top 10 matchup.
Okay. Over Georgia Tennessee?
Yes. That's what I think. I have no inside info on that. I have no clue.
Either way, I would guess SEC Nation.
I mean, they went to Columbus, and LSU's in another primetime game, and they probably want to get to Baton Rouge. Yes, I do, because you got Texas coming in there in a couple of weeks, and you got Bama coming in there in a couple of weeks. So they're going to be at Georgia probably twice. They're not going to go there for Tennessee. Because what's LSU's next, big top 10 matchup at home?
It would be A&M or South Carolina. Yeah, well, I could see LSU South Carolina being game day.
Who does South Carolina play? Bring me off their schedule.
South Carolina's Va-Tech, SC State, Vanderbilt, at Missouri, Kentucky.
And then they have you.
Then bye week, then LSU.
And then LSU. Shit, yeah, they could be undefeated.
Yeah, and so the thing is, would game day go to undefeated LSU versus undefeated South Carolina, or they go to undefeated Oklahoma versus undefeated Texas, they're going to go to the state fair, even though they went there last year.
State fair. So they're probably going to be in Baton Rouge next week.
Let's go. Let's go game day. Let's do it. Charles Alexander weekend.
It is.
Let's
Gold
go.
out. All right, buddy. We'll see you soon.
See you, buddy. Cheers.
All right, Carter the Power Bryant. We're out of here with him. Make sure we don't have any super chats. We do not. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.